When Keanu Reeves stepped onto the set of the Melissa Carter show, the audience expected what they always did from Hollywood's quiet legend: grace, humility, and thoughtful charm. But this wasn't going to be one of those interviews. Behind the scenes, Melissa Carter's producers were moving like a military unit. Edits were planned, sound bites pre-selected, and the questions were designed like traps, carefully crafted to peel away the layers of Keanu's public persona. The audience? Handpicked. Half were true fans, the other half were there to turn on him. This wasn't an interview. It was an ambush. And as Keanu sat down in the chair across from Melissa, calm and unreadable, she smiled, confident she was moments away from creating the viral takedown of the year. What she didn't know? Keanu already saw the trap. And he was about to flip it on its head. The invitation had come in quietly. It was a Tuesday morning. Keanu sat in his kitchen, sipping black coffee while scrolling through emails, film schedules, charity events, fan letters. Then one subject line caught his eye. Exclusive invitation, a candid conversation on the Melissa Carter show. Melissa Carter, America's queen of strategic controversy. Her interviews weren't conversations. They were battles dressed in polite smiles. Keanu paused, took another sip of coffee, and typed a simple reply: "I'd be honored." Back at the studio, producers gathered around a whiteboard, sketching out the assault. Melissa leaned on her desk, flipping through cue cards like weapons. "He's an easy target," her producer Jake said with a smirk. "Keanu Reeves? Seriously? Everyone loves that guy." "Exactly," Melissa said coolly. "That's what makes it work." She tapped one card labeled toxic masculinity. "We paint him as outdated, a relic, a symbol of a Hollywood that's holding back progress." Jake nodded. "And if he fights back, that's the clip," Melissa said. "That's the viral moment." The day arrived. Keanu rolled into the lot on his motorcycle. Calm, controlled. A security guard smiled wide. "Big fan, Mr. Reeves." Keanu gave a small nod. "Thanks, man." Inside, the studio buzzed. Cameras adjusted, lights softened. The audience filtered in, half excited, half skeptical, all ready. Every angle meticulously curated to build a story, a takedown. And Keanu? He sat down, folded his hands in his lap, and waited. Melissa greeted him with her flawless, camera-ready smile. "Keanu Reeves, welcome to the show." The red light blinked on. The trap was set. "Let's start with an easy one," Melissa said. Her voice sugar-coated. "What do you think about the future of Hollywood?" Keanu smiled softly. The calm, centered smile people knew so well. "I think stories change," he said. "But values don't." Melissa's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. Values? Courage, loyalty, standing up for what's right. Those things don't go out of style. How we tell those stories might change. But why we tell them, that stays the same. That wasn't what she wanted. She needed more. She flipped forward in her cards. "Let's talk about your roles," she said, her tone sharpening. "Neo, John Wick. These are powerful, dominant men who solve problems with violence. Isn't that part of the problem?" The room tensed. The producers leaned in. They were waiting for a crack, a moment, a slip. But Keanu, he simply smiled. "Well," he said, calm and steady, "that's an interesting way to look at it." The audience leaned forward. The pause lingered. Melissa waited. The moment was perfect, for her. But Keanu wasn't done. "I don't think telling stories about courage, sacrifice, and protecting the people you love is toxic." "Do you?" Melissa faltered. Just for a second. She tried to recover. "Of course not. But your films are filled with violence. Don't you think that has an impact?" Keanu nodded, as if considering her words carefully. "Do you believe stories should stop showing conflict?" Melissa blinked. "Because if we remove every story that includes struggle, redemption, and yes, even violence, what are we left with?" The audience murmured. "That's not what I'm saying," Melissa said quickly. Keanu's voice remained. soft but firm. "Then what are you saying?" The room shifted, power was slipping, and Melissa knew it. She tried again, changing tactics. "You've always been admired for your kindness," she said. "And yet many of your characters solve problems with their fists. Isn't that a contradiction?" Keanu tilted his head. "Why would it be?" Melissa blinked again. "Are you saying that people who practice kindness aren't capable of defending others?" Boom. The audience stirred. The producers looked at each other. Keanu leaned forward, his tone grounded. "I was raised to believe that kindness and strength aren't opposites. That standing up for what's right doesn't mean you're aggressive. It means you care." The shift was real now. The audience was with him. Desperate, Melissa played her final card. "Keanu," she said, her voice cool again, "do you really believe all of this? Or is this just another Hollywood script?" Gasps, audible gasps. Keanu chuckled softly. Not out of mockery, but something deeper. "A Hollywood script?" he repeated, then shook his head. "No. I don't think truth needs a script." The room went dead silent. Keanu looked directly at her. "Sometimes people mistake conversation for confrontation. I came here thinking we were having a conversation, but it feels like you came here looking for something else." Melissa flushed. The power dynamic had shifted entirely. She scrambled to regain control. "You've had a great career," she said quickly, "but the industry is changing. Don't you think maybe it's time to step aside and make room for the next generation?" The audience froze. Keanu smiled again. Calm. Deadly. "When I was a kid, I was taught that respect for those who came before us was essential." He paused. "It's interesting how today respect seems optional." The silence in the studio was thunderous. Melissa's smile vanished. A few audience members were already filming. Behind the scenes, her producers panicked. "We need to cut this. Too late. It's already going viral." And just like that, the moment was sealed. Not with anger, not with theatrics, just with truth. And while Melissa Carter sat frozen under the weight of her own show, the world watched, eyes wide, phones recording, timelines exploding. Keanu hadn't walked into a trap. He walked into a setup and walked out with the room in the palm of his hand. While Melissa Carter's team scrambled to contain the damage, the internet had already exploded. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. The hashtags hit like wildfire. Respect isn't optional. Keanu didn't flinch. Melissa Carter exposed comment sections blew up. Keanu just destroyed her with one sentence. Didn't even raise his voice. She walked straight into it. "This is how you handle an ambush. Absolute class." In real time, influencers dissected the moment frame by frame. News outlets picked it up mid-broadcast. Melissa Carter, the queen of media takedowns, was caught in a firestorm of her own making. And back at the studio, chaos. Her assistant rushed in, whispering, "Melissa, the clip's everywhere." Melissa clenched her jaw, forced a tight smile, sipped her water like it wasn't burning her throat. She had planned for the interview to trend, but not like this. Not with her looking weak. She needed to fix this. Fast. The show returned from commercial. Cameras rolling. Red light on. Melissa took a deep breath. Forced a nervous laugh. "Well, Keanu, that was certainly a spirited discussion." Keanu just smiled. Calm, collected, untouchable. Melissa turned back to the camera, trying to regain control. "Folks, we'll continue this conversation online. Don't forget to like and subscribe." But it was too late, because while she tried to pivot, no one was listening to her anymore. They were listening to Keanu, and now, he didn't even need to say another word. By nightfall, the interview wasn't just trending. It was dominating the news cycle. Mainstream media ran the clip in slow motion. Pundits debated every word. Some defended Melissa. She was just asking the tough questions. But the public? They saw the truth. She tried to bait him. He didn't bite. He flipped the whole setup into a masterclass in humility. There's a reason people love this man. He doesn't play games. Melissa Carter had underestimated him. She thought she could corner Keanu Reeves. But she forgot. You can't corner a man who isn't playing chess. The next morning, Melissa arrived at her office. Sunglasses on, coffee in hand. Her assistant was waiting, white as a ghost. "Melissa, we have a problem," she groaned, rubbing her temples. "What now?" Her assistant turned her phone around. A new video, Keanu Reeves, outside a small cafe. A journalist approached him, mic out. "Mr. Reeves, do you have anything to say about the Melissa Carter interview?" Keanu looked up, smiled softly, and, in that unmistakable calm voice, he said, "Gentleness never goes out of style." That was it. 6 words. And just like that, he'd said everything. Melissa's heart sank. She stared at the screen. The video had 5 million views. And climbing. Gentleness wins. A new wave began. Memes flooded Twitter. GIFs of Keanu smiling at Melissa mid-interview. TikTok trends launched. People facing awkward moments and responding with, "Gentleness never goes out of style." It was no longer just a viral moment. It was a cultural movement. And Keanu, he wasn't even online. Hollywood took notice. Actors chose sides. Some defended Melissa. She was doing her job. But others hailed Keanu a class act. The public, though? They had already chosen. Keanu didn't just win the interview, he won the conversation. Melissa? She was on the wrong side of it, but she wasn't done. She recorded a response video, dressed down, soft lighting, casual setting. "I have nothing but respect for Keanu Reeves, but let's be honest. His fans took this out of context. I was just doing my job." She paused, then added the twist. "If people can't handle a little healthy debate, maybe the real issue isn't masculinity. Maybe it's fragility." She hit upload. Boom. At first, her defenders rallied. She's right. Keanu didn't even answer the question. Why? Does everyone treat him like an untouchable saint? But then the internet turned. She lost the debate and now she's blaming Keanu. For being too nice? This is gaslighting at Olympic level. She played with fire, got burned, now she's mad the fire was hot. Just like that, her plan backfired. The next day, 3 sponsors pulled out. Her network called an emergency meeting. Then, another email. Subject line, "Urgent meeting, future of the Melissa Carter show." Her stomach dropped. This wasn't just viral fallout. This was career-ending territory, and she was out of moves. Meanwhile, Keanu? He said nothing. No statements. No interviews. He just went about his day, walking, reading, writing, and that silence, it drove her crazy. Every time someone tried to drag him back into the debate, someone else replied, "Gentleness never goes out of style." That afternoon, outside a bookstore, a reporter found him again. "Keanu, do you have any final thoughts?" "About Melissa Carter?" Holding a cup of coffee, Keanu paused, then smiled. "I think we should all try listening more than we speak." 1 sentence. No anger, no shade, and just like that, another viral moment. For Melissa Carter, it was the final nail. She had built her empire on sharp, aggressive interviews. She thought Keanu Reeves would be her easiest takedown yet. She was wrong. He never raised his voice, never got defensive, never attacked. Instead, he dismantled her entire playbook with 1 line. "When I was a kid, I was taught that respect for those who came before us was essential. It's interesting how today respect seems optional." That was the moment everything shifted. Within hours, respect isn't optional. Keanu didn't flinch. Gentleness wins, then the cafe video, then the bookstore quote. And Melissa? She was buried beneath the very storm she created. On her next episode, she tried to walk it back. "I regret if my words were misinterpreted." It wasn't an apology. It was survival. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. Her credibility never recovered. Her show was quietly phased out over the following months. And Keanu? He never gloated. He never clapped back. He simply moved on. Because some battles aren't won with fists. Some wars aren't won with words. Sometimes, the quietest voice carries the loudest truth. Melissa Carter tried to take him down. Instead, she proved what Keanu Reeves has always stood for. True power doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be real.